Hey guys, just over here. Now, before we start explaining the Invincible Iceberg, I want to state some things. Number one, this will contain spoilers if you have only seen the animated show Invincible. You have been warned of possible spoilers. Number two, this will dive into the animated show and the comic series altogether, but mostly the comic series. We will dive into the animated series here and there as it is also a part of the iceberg. Number three, there may be some things in this video I might possibly get wrong. If there is anything I get wrong, please correct me in the comments and I will fix myself in a future video. Number four, I will link the iceberg in the description of the original Reddit post where I found this. Number five, this video was inspired by another Invincible Iceberg video, but they only cover the show for spoiler reasons. I will link their video in the description as well. Now, time to discuss the big elephant in the room before we get started. Yes, if you look at my channel, the content is completely different than what this video is going to be. This video is more of diving into an iceberg, while my other content is gaming and podcast content related. I want to try to split my channel into a few parts for reaching certain audiences, gaming, podcasts, and more lengthy videos. If you do like my content, then I hope you wish to stay by liking and subscribing to the channel to stay tuned for even more future content. Without further ado, let's get into the iceberg. But let's explain what an iceberg is. An iceberg is for a show, game, or anything lore-wise in general. An iceberg has multiple layers that I named myself. The sky, the surface, the waters, the deep waters, the even deeper waters, the edge, and the darkness. We are going to start with the sky, of course, and then we will go lower and lower. But without further ado, let's get started. Hey, so this is editor Airbo here. So I realized after finally recording and finishing all of the audios for every layer, I realized I never really explained what the show or comic series is. So I'm just gonna explain it here and put it at the beginning of the video. So, Invincible is a comic book series created by writer Robert Kirkman and artist Cory Walker. It was first published by Image Comics in 2013 and concluded in 2018. After a 144-issue run, the series follows Mark Grayson, a teenager who inherits superpowers from his father, Omni-Man, a member of the Viltumite race, an alien species. Mark takes on the superhero persona Invincible and navigates the challenges of being a hero while dealing with personal relationships, villains, and the complexities of his father's legacy. In addition to the comic book series, Invincible was then adapted into an animated television series by Amazon Prime. The series premiered in March 2021 and closely follows the storyline of the comics, featuring voice talents such as Stephen Young, J.K. Simmons, Sandra Oh, Gillian Jacobs. The show has been well received for its faithful adaptation, engaging storylines, and mature themes. In the final episode of Invincible Season 1 in the animated show, Omni-Man / Nolan says this.
You die! Think, Mark!
This becomes a famous meme which also kind of increased the audience of the Invincible fan base. Viltrumites are a strong, highly advanced species who live on the planet Viltrum. Their species conquers planets for their own to expand their galactic empire. They are known and feared by many across the universe as a strong and ferocious species who will do whatever it takes to conquer a planet. Adam Eve and Rexplode are one of the first relationships we get introduced to. Rex lived in Eve's closet for a year and was never caught until they formed a team. We'll dive more into that later. Their relationship on the animation and comic series doesn't last long though, as Rex cheats on Adam Eve with Duplicate, another character we will get into later. Rexplode even tries to apologize to Adam Eve for cheating on her, but Adam Eve doesn't forgive him, so she stays single for quite a bit until later on in the series. Alan is an alien who was made just to be able to fight against the Viltrum Empire, but failed at the end of the day. But instead, Alan now goes from planet to planet fighting people stronger than him, who could possibly help him and a group on defeating the Viltrum Empire and stopping them for good. Omni-Man is featured in a few games, like for example, he's in Fortnite, Mortal Kombat, and the Invincible game Invincible Guarding the Globe. The creator of Invincible. I mean, there's not much to go into that. He also made the comics Science Dog, The Walking Dead, and Void Rivals. I'm not 100% sure if he was the original creator of The Walking Dead. I didn't look too deep into that, so feel free to correct me if I am right or not in the comments below. Now, when I got to this part of the iceberg, I myself was more confused by this, as I have never heard of this line. But the best I can find is I read a post that said, "Don't think, Mark, don't think," with an image from Season 2 of a scene Omni-Man and Invincible fighting against other Viltrumites on the planet Thraxa. The Immortal is a member of the old and new Guardians of the Globe, and was the leader of both. His age can't kill him, but there are other ways to kill him. Eve is the tritagonist of Invincible. She's better known as Adam Eve, a superhero with the power to manipulate matter on a subatomic scale. She was a previous member of Teen Team before they disbanded for tryouts for the new Guardians of the Globe, which we will get into later. Though she passed tryouts, Adam Eve ultimately left to become an independent hero for herself. She left because Rexplode got accepted into the new Guardians of the Globe, and this was when Eve first got cheated on by Rex. Now, Omni-Man in the start of Season 1, Episode 1 seemed like a good guy, but at the end turned out to be a very bad man, being a Viltrumite who was secretly trying to conquer Earth, but after killing the Guardians of the Globe, once caught, decided to finally set his ass into action. Now, this is a great follow-up to talking about Omni-Man being evil. Once Omni-Man killed the Guardians of the Globe, only a few days later, a new Guardians of the Globe who had Robot, Rexplode, Monster Girl, Duplicate, Shrieking Ray, Black Samsung, Immortal, Bulletproof, and Shapesmith. Though Adam, Eve, and Invincible were offered positions to join, then they both declined the offer. We will get into more detail on some of these characters later through the iceberg. The old Guardians of the Globe contained the following: Red Rush, who had the power of super speed; Aquarius, a fish who can shoot water from his hands and can control the ocean water with his kingdom; Darkwing, a man who actually has no powers and uses tools and is great at hand-to-hand combat; Green Ghost, a lady who can make herself or anyone she's touching be phasable through anything; War Woman, a lady who has super strength and carries a mace that can be very, very effective when hitting somebody, like when she hit Omni-Man, for example. Immortal, we already covered who he is, but again, he is a strong man who cannot die from age and could live forever unless killed by someone's bare hands. Mark's mom / Omni-Man's wife, who despite having no powers, is a big rule for both Mark and Nolan, and even saved Mark's life by making Nolan understand the beauty of a human life and their worth. Teen Team was a team of 4 people who contained Adam Eve, Rexplode, Robot, and Duplicate before they became a part of the Guardians of the Globe, besides Adam Eve, of course. A very long and strong debate between the Boys fans and Invincible fans, but also declared by Robert Kirkman himself, and with tons of evidence that Omni-Man could possibly slam Homelander. Maybe he would be able to keep up the fight, but let's be real. At the end of the day, Homelander is not winning. And with that, we have finished the iceberg layer, the sky. Now we will be moving on to the next layer, the surface. Before we do, like I said before, if you are enjoying this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as it helps grow the channel. We do ask too if you are interested to watch the whole video, as it also helps get it out towards new people. And if you wish to share this video to others, then of course share the video. But without further ado, let's get into the next iceberg layer, the surface. I was more confused with this topic on the Iceberg, so I decided to look more into this, and from what I found, it was more focused on Amber getting a better personality instead of not caring for Mark, and his reasons why he had to lie to her about his disappearances. I'm assuming a bunch of fans were getting angry about how she was being like this, but again, assuming the creators listened and made her personality better. The Coalition of Planets is a group of people, including Alan, to go against the Viltrumites and take them down once and for all. Later on through the series, they get more recruits like Omni-Man after the prison break with Alan. From what I'm assuming is meant by later on through the series, when even after we get a new Guardians of the Globe, we get another new Guardians of the Globe, which has the following. I may be wrong, so feel free to fix me if I'm wrong. Brit, Black Samsung, Invincible, Shapesmith, Yeti, Kaboomerang, El Chupacabra, Outrun, Best Tiger, Triphandroid, Knockout, Pegasus, Robot, Monster Girl, and an honorary member, Lethan. Some of the Invincible voice actors for the animated show are known to be very famous for some previous work, like including J.K. Simmons, Ben Schwartz, and Seth Rogen. There is another one, but will soon be mentioned in another topic. Angessa is the mother to Mark's brother / Nolan's son, who is Oliver. Oliver is a mixed breed between a Thraxan and a Viltrumite. In the show, though, we don't see her for long after the Viltrumites attack the Thraxans and their planet. Oliver, like we stated before, is the son of Andressa and Nolan / Omni-Man. With him being a breed between Thraxans and Viltrumite, he grows up faster than a normal human, but slower than a Thraxan. This then later makes him grow up fast, and by some leaks for Invincible Season 3, we get to see him grown up enough to become a superhero and name himself Omni-Man Jr. Thraxa is the species of Andressa, like we stated before, which become a big role later throughout the series, with Thrag going to their planet to breed with them for more hybrids of a Viltrumite / Thraxan. Sequids are a little pink alien species who are not strong on their own, but when they take over a body, they can conquer an entire planet for themselves. In Omni-Man's books, they hint towards how to defeat a Viltrumite, and the books are narrating Nolan's adventures that he had throughout his life. Lucan is a Viltrumite out of one of the three who tried to fight Omni-Man and Invincible when they were on the planet Thraxa. After Invincible and Omni-Man's fight between the three Viltrumites, Lucan, the one we mentioned before in the show, at least attacks Omni-Man out of nowhere and knocks the wind out of him enough for the rest of the Viltrumites to come over to Thraxa and capture Omni-Man for betraying them, to then execute him by Viltrumites. The Lizard League has been around for many years and has run into multiple superhero teams during that time. It is unknown how the Lizard League was originally formed, or even when that happened precisely. While commonly referred to as a joke on social media and across the superhero community, they are most certainly not to be underestimated, and has been proven time and time again. I do know quite a bit about the Mahler twins, but I did some research, and apparently contrary to the name, the Mahler twins are surprisingly not actually twins. In truth, Mahler was a mad scientist who perfected a process to clone himself, intending to have someone around that has shared his intellect and could competently help with his fringe science experiments. But later on, they did a lot of cloning to the point neither of them ever knew who the original was, to where it became a running gag every time between them. During the conquest that Omni-Man tried to do while Mark was talking to his dad, and mentioned Debbie and if the relationship ever mattered to him, to which Omni-Man gave a response and then would also call her a pet, making her sad and Mark very mad at him.
Love your mother, but she's more like a pet.
Famous voice actor Clarence John Brown, who's a voice actor for Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob SquarePants, is also the voice actor for General Krieg in the animated show. And with that, we finish the surface and finally get into some deep stuff, the water's lair. Again, this is a checkpoint for you to either take a 5-minute break to eat, drink, or use the bathroom. So, go ahead while you can. Are you done? Well, without further ado, let's get into the water's lair. Only explained in the comics so far, which will hopefully be explained in this show later, but Rexplode is still human technically. His family sold him to people to then work on his body and change him to have powers to, well, make things explode. Kind of his whole name and his power. Similar but also not similar to how Adam Eve was made and got her powers. Oh boy, where do I begin with Anissa? We first get introduced to her to visit Mark and check up on him to make sure he's doing his father's mission that General Krieg assigned Mark, since his father did not succeed. Anissa almost kills Mark, but doesn't kill him and leaves the planet. She later returns to visit Mark too. Before I get started, I just want to state that what I'm about to get into is a very touchy subject for some people. If you have handled with this situation, I'm very sorry for you. But Anissa sexually harassed Mark and basically raped him to have a child with her, as she was assigned to do this with Mark. She then gives birth to Mark's son Marky, who we will dive into more later. She then quote-unquote redeems herself later on by living on Earth with someone and having another kid. There are some more things about her that I did not go into, but it could be a very touchy subject, so I'm just going to leave it where I stated. Conquest is a Viltumite who is one of the oldest ones to live currently and visits Mark to fight him to the death. Adam Eve then goes to save Mark, but almost gets killed by Conquest. Mark almost kills Conquest, but doesn't. Later after the fight, that makes Mark decide that if he needs to kill, he will kill. Mark later on runs into Conquest to then kill him for good, but he almost dies from Conquest, but Nolan and Oliver stay on the planet they landed on to heal him and make sure everything goes well with the healing. The multiverse is an endless, diverse section of realities in Invincible. Angstrom Levy is widely considered to be the conduit of these endless realities, which universe that is called the following: Alternate Universe 1, Alternate Universe 2, Sinister Mark's Universe, Omnipotus Universe, Dinoverse, Zombieverse, aka The Walking Dead Universe, Wasteland Universe, Flaxen Dimension, Agent Spider/Spider-Man's Universe, and Caped Vigilante's Universe. Duplicate survival in combat is solely dependent on having at least one duplicate. Kate is physically prevented from being able to split, such as being held by Komodo Dragon. Her last remaining self can be killed, and on the other hand, Monster Girl has the power to turn into a green hulking beast. Powers have a major downside. Every time she transforms, her body de-ages slightly. Because of this, Monster Girl has the appearance of a 12-year-old, but she's actually 24 currently in the animated series. Sinclair is a genius who attended the Upstate University thanks to a special program he was awarded with. He believes that whatever weakness a human has is an obstacle to be solved by engineering by changing them completely. After being taken down by Invincible when caught messing with humans and turning them into Reanimen, he was hired by Cecil Stedman so he could create an army of them, which was then also used to fight against Omni-Man when he first went rogue and tried to conquer Earth. Angstrom Levy wielded his unique ability to manipulate portals, employing them to rescue a parallel iteration of himself amidst the bustling Times Square. Meanwhile, the nefarious Invincible dispatched Robot and the Immortal, plunging the situation into peril. Safely relocating his alternate self to a waterfront location, Angstrom divulged the existence of myriad other iterations of himself. Continuing his agenda, he liberated the incarcerated Mahler twins, escorting them to his lab for collaboration. Seeking their expertise in constructing a device to clean insights for his alternate selves across dimensions. Angstrom provided the necessary resources, albeit with a condition of urgency. Upon completion of the device, Angstrom embarked on its utilization, only to be confronted by the intervention of Invincible, employing his powers to summon reinforcements from alternate dimensions of Mauler twins. Angstrom found himself caught in a struggle, resulting in unintended consequences. Amidst chaos, he discerned the Mauler's treacherous intentions, prompting a critical decision to abort the operation, albeit at a personal cost. Subsequently, Angstrom sought solace in another dimension, seeking restitution for his injuries from the adept technicians while harboring a fervent desire for retribution against Invincible. God, that took a while to say. That took quite a few attempts to fully say. I don't think you understand. In the aftermath of Emperor Argyl's demise, orchestrated by the Great Betrayer, the Viltumites plunge in a tumultuous period marked by internal strife and discord. This discord culminated in a harrowing civil war, where the Viltumites relentlessly purged those they deemed unfit or weak, resulting in a staggering reduction of their population. However, this crucible of conflict forged the survivors into formidable and indomitable warriors, poised to assert their dominance over the cosmos. Embarking on a relentless campaign of expansion, the Viltrumites extended their reach across galaxies, with Earth emerging as a prime target in their relentless pursuit of universal supremacy. General Krieg serves as one of the leaders of the Viltrumite Empire and is often depicted as a ruthless and strategic military commander. Throughout the series, he plays a significant role in the Viltrumites' plans for domination and expansion across the universe, frequently engaging in battles against the protagonist Mark Grayson and other heroes. Thetis defied his people's brutality by assassinating the first emperor. He later founded the coalition of planets to oppose Viltrumite expansion. Suspecting a mole, he tasked Alan with surveillance. After Alan's injuries, Thetis triggered his adaptive physiology, revealing his Viltrumite nature and requesting a meeting with Invincible immediately. Little is known about Battle Beast except his name, Thok, and his passion for challenging fights. He was hired by Machine Head to battle Invincible and the Guardians of the Globe. He left disappointed, though, after finding them unworthy opponents. He spared them, deeming their deaths dishonorable. Later, he was seen attacking guards on a spacecraft to then be found on the Viltrumite prison, breaking out with Alan and Omni-Man to then fight aside the coalition of planets, to then also fight Thrag, which would then be one of the best fights in the entire Invincible series. In this episode, viewers are provided with insights into Adam Eve's origins, powers, and personal journey as she navigates her role as a superhero and her relationships with other characters in the series. After the alien sustains severe injuries, he undergoes a significant transformation that enhances his strength and abilities. This transformation is attributed to his species' unique physiology, which enables them to adapt and evolve rapidly in response to life-threatening situations. Essentially, Alan's near-death experience triggers a physiological response within his body, prompting it to undergo rapid changes to ensure his survival. As a result, he emerges from the ordeal significantly stronger and more resilient than before, allowing him to continue his endeavors as a formidable opponent. I don't know why I put formidable twice there in the script, I apologize. Invincible Season 2 most likely experienced delays due to factors such as animation production, voice acting scheduling, writing, and storyboarding, post-production tasks, and potential impacts from the COVID-19 pandemic. And with that, we end the Waters layer. This one took me longer than I thought, which may not be a good sign for me for these later layers. But like I said last time, if you need to take a break for a little, go ahead now and pause the video to do so. Without further ado, let's get into the next layer, the Deep Waters. Throughout the Invincible series, Mark has had some costume changes. His first and iconic costume is his combination of blue, yellow, and black. Later on through the series, though, his costume is to just be blue and black, but then later goes back to his old costume with the yellow, blue, and black, as he believes the black and blue costume was a curse against him, which we will explain later on why. I was holding that in the entire time. The Viltrumite War occurs when Thrag, seeking to expand the Viltrumite Empire, launches an invasion on Earth. This leads to a prolonged conflict between the Viltrumites and the various superheroes defending Earth, including Invincible, his father Omni-Man, and other members of the Guardians of the Globe. This war is a significant arc in the series characterized by intense battles, moral dilemmas, and personal sacrifices. It tests the resolve and strength of the heroes as they fight to protect the world from the Viltrumite threat. The outcome of the war has far-reaching consequences for the characters in the universe of Invincible. Thrag is a central figure in the Invincible universe, serving as a primary antagonist and one of the most formidable adversaries faced by the titular hero Invincible. As the leader of the Viltrumite race, Thrag embodies their inherent traits of strength, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to dominance. Throughout the series, Thrag is portrayed as a cunning and ruthless leader willing to employ any means necessary to achieve his objectives. His character is defined by his unyielding dedication to the survival and supremacy of the Viltrumite Empire, often at the expense of countless lives across the galaxy. Thrag's physical prowess is matched only by his strategic acumen, making him a formidable opponent in both individual combat and large-scale conflicts. His mastery of hand-to-hand combat, augmented by his superhuman abilities, makes him a nearly unstoppable force on the battlefield. However, Thrag's characterization extends beyond mere brute strength. He's depicted as a complex and nuanced character driven by a deep sense of loyalty to his people and a profound belief in their superiority. Despite his ruthless nature, Thrag is shown to possess moments of introspection and even a twisted sense of honor, adding layers to his villainous persona. Yes! First try! In the show and comic, Rex, Explode, Duplicate, and Shrinking Ray stay on Earth while the rest of the Guardians of the Globe, including Adam, Eve, and Invincible. When the Lizard League decides to do some evil deeds, again, Rex, Explode, Duplicate, and Ray fight them, but it seems to not go in their hands. But in Duplicate's fight, she gets, well, tricking everyone into thinking she was dead for good. But later, when the Immortal goes back to his cabin after catching some fish, he meets a Duplicate that was kept hidden because she was tired of dying all the time and wanted to keep the original Duplicate hidden. Originally a member of the Guardians of the Globe, Black Samsung loses his powers after a devastating battle and is subsequently removed from the team. He struggles with his loss of abilities and identity, but eventually regains his powers through determination and technological assistance after Battle Beast did some decent damage. Black Samsung is portrayed as a complex character with a troubled past, including struggles with addiction and personal demons. Despite his flaws, he is shown to be a valiant hero committed to protecting others and making amends for his past mistakes. Throughout the series, Black Samsung serves as both a mentor and a friend to Mark Grayson, offering guidance and support in his journey as a superhero. He plays a significant role in several story arcs, contributing his expertise and experience to various conflicts and challenges faced by the heroes. The Scourge Virus emerged as a desperate attempt by the coalition of planets to combat the relentless expansion of the Viltrumite Empire. Engineered to be specifically target the Viltrumite population, the virus spread rapidly, infecting nearly every individual within their ranks. The devastating effects of the Scourge Virus were profound, resulting in a staggering loss of life among the Viltrumites, with 99.9% of the population succumbing to the infection or suffering severe debilitation. The once mighty Viltrumites found themselves greatly weakened, their famed strength and invulnerability drastically diminished. In a twist of fate, a more potent strain of the Scourge virus emerged, capable of bypassing any acquired immunity. This new iteration posed as an even greater threat when Mark Grayson fell victim to its effects. Despite his royal Viltrumite lineage, Mark found himself infected, leading to a temporary loss of his extraordinary abilities. However, Mark's resilience and determination proved pivotal in his eventual triumph over the virus. Through sheer willpower and the support of allies, he overcame the debilitating effects, ultimately regaining his powers and emerging stronger than ever before. His harrowing ordeals underscored both the fragility of power and the indomitable spirit of a true hero in the face of adversity. I am not re-recording this because I do not feel like re-recording it. I've been trying to get this one done for at least 5 minutes because I keep messing up. Way later through the series, when Mark gets sent back in time, while he still has the knowledge of his present timeline, he is sent back to the day he got his powers. He then confronts his dad, knowing what he is going to do, so his dad sets his plan to conquer the Earth earlier than usual. When Omni-Man catches up to Mark and tells him his plan to conquer the Earth, Mark actually led Omni-Man to the Guardians of the Globe HQ, and they hear everything, but then fight alongside Invincible to take down Omni-Man. But throughout the fight, it looks to be the exact same result, especially with the Immortal getting a hole through his stomach again. But when the Green Ghost phases through Omni-Man to mess with his stomach, it makes him sick enough to make him pass out due to fatigue from still fighting the Guardians of the Globe, and Mark making this their one and only victory. To me personally, this seems like luck. I feel like either way, if Omni-Man surprise attacked them or not, they still would have died unless they thought about that idea, which in the first ever original fight they had, it seems like they didn't even think about that, due to them being ambushed and shocked maybe? Most likely, but that's just my opinion. Referring to a scene with the Mauler twins in the prison where, by the looks of it, every Thursday for their food they get chicken pot pie to eat. I don't know why that's the whole way down here. It's literally just chicken pot pie. In the Invincible series, Viltumites have a weakness related to their ears. Specifically, their inner ears are sensitive to sonic frequencies that are outside the human range, but within the spectrum of the Viltrumite physiology. When exposed to these frequencies, Viltrumites experience extreme pain and disorientation, rendering them vulnerable to attacks. This weakness was exploited by Mark and other characters in various conflicts against the Viltrumites throughout the series. Space Racer, also known as Lugan, is a key character. With his striking blue skin and the power of flight, he's renowned as a top pilot in the cosmos, but it's his unwavering loyalty and bravery that truly define him. Throughout the series, Space Racer proves himself a steadfast ally to Invincible and his companions, always ready to lend his expertise and assistance in intergalactic missions. His calm demeanor and quick thinking making him invaluable in moments of crisis. Despite facing challenges in the past, Space Racer remains committed to fighting for justice. His character adds depth to the series, showcasing the vast wonders of the cosmos and the diverse beings within it. Through his adventures, Space Racer leaves a lasting impact on readers, ensuring his legacy endures in the Invincible universe. After sustaining severe injuries during an encounter with the villain Omni-Man, Donald is saved through cybernetic enhancements, transforming him into a cyborg. As Cyborg Donald, he continues to fight alongside the Guardians, showcasing his resilience and determination to protect the world despite his altered form. Ragnar is a formidable alien species that appears as a recurring antagonist. Ragnars are large, hulking creatures with immense strength and durability. They are known for their aggressive and warlike nature, often serving as mercenaries or soldiers in conflicts across the galaxy. Ragnars possess a variety of physical attributes that make them formidable opponents in battle. They have sharp claws and teeth, as well as thick hides that provide them with natural armor. Additionally, Ragnars are capable of regenerating from injuries at a rapid rate, making them even more challenging to defeat. Throughout the series, Ragnars are depicted as powerful adversaries that pose a significant threat to the protagonist, Invincible, and other characters. Their presence adds an element of danger and excitement to the cosmic conflicts within the story. One of Robot's key motivations for taking over Earth is his belief that he can create a better world through authoritarian rule. He becomes disillusioned with the chaos and efficiency of human society, and he sees himself as uniquely qualified to bring order and stability to the planet. Robot's intelligence and technological prowess allow him to enact his vision for a controlled society where resources are allocated efficiently and conflicts are minimized. Additionally, Robot's actions are influenced by his personal relationships and desire for companionship. Throughout the series, Robot struggles with feelings of isolation and loneliness due to his non-human appearance and artificial nature. He forms close bonds with other characters, particularly Monster Girl, and his desire to protect and care for them plays a role in his decision making. Ultimately, Robot's takeover of Earth is driven by a combination of idealism, pragmatism, and personal motives. However, his actions have far-reaching consequences and led to conflict with other characters, including Invincible, as they oppose his authoritarian rule and fight to protect their freedom and autonomy. And with that, we have finished the Deep Waters Lair. We're going to advance to the even deeper Waters Lair. But before we get further into the more advanced things in this iceberg, as this lair we just come, for example, quite a lot of details in some of these topics in this lair. But again, I'm now 10 pages into this script and I'm starting to have advance. But you know what? Who cares? Let's get to the next lair in deeper waters. Thrag's decision to assemble a half-breed army in Invincible reflects several strategic considerations. Firstly, by incorporating individuals with diverse genetic backgrounds, he ensures a level of versatility within his forces. Half-breeds may inherit a mix of abilities and attributes from their parent races, making them adaptable and effective in various combat scenarios. Moreover, the recruitment of half-breeds allows Thrag to bolster the numbers of his army significantly. By tapping into the genetic pool of multiple species, he can increase the overall size and strength of his forces, providing a numerical advantage in conflicts. Additionally, forming alliances with other races through the creation of half-breed offsprings can be advantageous. It enables Thrag to secure resources, territories, or additional military support from allied species, strengthening his position in the universe. Furthermore, Thrag's insistence on maintaining genetic purity rooted in the Viltumite belief in their superiority is reflected in his approach to creating half-breeds. While utilizing the strengths of other races, he ensures that his army maintains some level of genetic integrity, aligning with his broader ideologic principles. I don't know why I stuttered so much there. I apologize for that. Argyle is a Viltrumite depicted as a high-ranking member of the Viltrumite Empire, often serving in roles that involve enforcement or military operations. Throughout the series, Argyle is portrayed as a powerful and ruthless warrior, loyal to the principles of the Viltrumite Empire and willing to do whatever it takes to achieve his goals. His character plays a significant role in various story arcs within this series, contributing to the conflict and dynamics between different factions and characters. Now, I won't lie, this took me quite a bit to get some information on this, so some of this may be wrong, some of this may be right, so feel free to correct me in the comments below if I am wrong about this at all. The Depth Dweller is a colossal sea monster with large forearms that boast menacing pincers. Positioned on its forehead is a lure resembling an adorable, nearly human-sized seahorse attached by a line. Its body is encased in a large blue-colored shell with a white torso. Additionally, the creature has 3 eyes situated beneath the seahorse-like lure on its forehead. The Depth Dweller is a formidable kaiju, colossal sea monster imprisoned within the depths of a trench in Atlantis. Its captivity stems from a dramatic event orchestrated by Queen Aquaria of Atlantis, who sought vengeance against Invincible for his father's role in the demise of her husband, King Aquarius. In a failed attempt to exact retribution, Queen Aquaria unleashed the Depth Dweller upon Invincible, hoping to end his life as a form of justice for her fallen spouse. Now, before I continue, while I was looking into this, I got multiple sources, and some had different answers, and some had the same answers. So, I may be wrong with where I'm going with this, but let's continue. The Invincible War is a major storyline in the series, spanning several issues for the comic book. Here's a summary of the key events. Viltrumite invasion. The war begins with the arrival of a coalition of Viltrumites led by Invincible's father, who seeks to conquer Earth and bring it under Viltrumite rule. Their arrival sparks a massive conflict between Invincible and his allies against the powerful Viltrumite forces. Epic battles. Throughout the war, epic battles rage across Earth as Invincible, his fellow superheroes, and various factions resist the Viltrumite invasion. These battles are intense and destructive, involving superhuman abilities, advanced technology, and strategic maneuvering. Character development. The Invincible War provides significant character development for Invincible and other key characters in this series. They face moral dilemmas, personal challenges, and difficult decisions as they confront the ruthless Viltrumites and fight to protect their planet. Losses and sacrifices. The war results in significant losses and sacrifices on both sides. Heroes fall in battle, cities are devastated, and the world is forever changed by the conflict. These losses deepen the emotional impact of the storyline and shape the future of the series. Resolution. Eventually, the war reaches a climax, leading to a resolution that concludes the conflict. The outcome of the war has far-reaching consequences for the characters and the world they inhabit, setting the stage for future storylines in the series overall. Overall, the Invincible War is a defining moment in the Invincible series, showcasing epic battles, intense drama, and profound character development as the heroes of Earth unite to defend their planet against a formidable alien threat. In case you're confused what this exactly means by pacing issues, this is talking about some people were worried how the pace for getting some of the storyline into season 1 and 2 would be. It was quick at first, but does eventually get into a good pace with the storyline for the animation. It is revealed by Omni-Man after the prison escape with him and Alan that there aren't many Viltrumites left after the Great Purge, and the Scourge virus killed many of them, causing their species to be endangered. Two-Punch Man is a minor character from the series. He appears as a part of the Global Defense Agency, a government organization that deals with superhuman threats. I'm surprised we didn't get to that earlier, so I just want to explain it just in case. Two-Punch Man's real name is not revealed, but he possesses the ability to generate tremendous strength in his fists, allowing him to deliver devastating punches. Despite his formidable power, he is portrayed as somewhat ineffectual and is often used for comedic effect in the series. Multipole possesses a unique ability akin to his sister's, allowing him to generate perfect replicas of himself. Each of these duplicates exhibit independent consciousness, thoughts, and actions. Moreover, they maintain a telepathic connection established at their creation, which persists until they either reabsorbed or meet their demise. Consequently, if one duplicate perishes, all others experience the loss collectively. So, I was more confused on what this was and decided to look more on the internet to see what it meant. I found a good answer on Reddit, so shout out to Emperor Dummy on the Invincible Reddit, because that's where I found this. Smart atoms. Most atoms have fixed properties. See molecular power and atomic power. Smart atoms have variable properties which can be arranged to produce several useful effects. Although atoms are made of only 7 fundamental particles, 12 fermions, and 5 bosons, each particle can exist in numerous frequencies, velocities, positions, and so on, as measured by, and I may get this wrong, Boltzmann and entropy, or entropy, I don't know how to say that, the number of states a system can exist in and still be the same system. These states can be used for encoding information. Smart atoms remember their normal states in relation to their environment and can be encoded to react to changes in that environment. For example, atoms in a muscle can ensure that the molecules behave normally even under extreme forces, or atoms in the air can be forced to maintain their relative positions, thus acting like an impenetrable wall at a molecular, i.e. chemical, scale. Smart atoms are identical to other atoms when in normal use. They form conventional molecules which perform conventional tasks. Hence, a Viltrumite, for example, is biologically indistinguishable from a human under normal conditions. Smart atoms are highly complex and difficult to control. It is normal for an advanced technology or civilization to make use of 1 or 2 features of smart atoms and be unable to master other features. Despite thousands of years of experimentation, Viltrumites are unique in not simply mastering several useful features of smart atoms, but in being able to duplicate these features through their DNA. During Invincible and Thrag's fight, their battle eventually leads to them going towards the sun, and while they are fighting, the sun starts to burn their body as Mark questions Thrag on his motivation to keep doing what he does, as Thrag then replies saying it's for revenge on what his bloodline did to stop him from claiming the empire he wanted and quote-unquote deserved to rule. While Thrag starts to try and escape, Mark starts to get the upper hand and eventually keeps Thrag in there long enough for his body to fully burn and disintegrate for good. Marky was born of the Viltumite female Nissa, who took Invincible by force. She later regretted the decision and married a human man, but hid her son from Invincible until later. Marky would meet his true father when he was only a few years old and learn of his origin as one of the Viltrumites. After Invincible and the Viltrumites leave Earth, Marky left behind, adopting his father's superhero name and becoming Kid Invincible. Many years later, Marky fought with his father, and he worshipped his father and pushed him as hard as possible because he wanted to live up to his legacy. Marky was angry that his father left him on Earth and hated himself because he thought he wasn't good enough, and now worship changed to hatred. Crushed, Mark vowed to make things right with his son. Omnipotus is a powerful alien being known for his immense strength and destructive capabilities. Omnipotus is depicted as a massive creature with a humanoid form, adorned with a crown and wielding a scepter. He is considered a formidable threat in the Invincible universe, often requiring the combined efforts of multiple superheroes to confront and defeat him. Now, when I saw this, I was more confused on what this specifically meant, but I personally I personally think Mark didn't solo Thula. Thula is the Viltrumite with the braid that had a blade at the end of it. As in the end, Mark was too hesitant with killing her, which gave her the advantage to stab him in the stomach, which then makes Mark have to call for his dad to save him, which ends in Omni-Man killing her. Yeah, not really a solo, if you ask me. With all of that information, that ends the even deeper water layer. This was a lot of information, but it's all the best I can get. I wasn't too confident with some parts of this layer, so feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But with that, we go to the second to last layer, the edge. Let's continue. I think we know our answer. I think this is the whole way down here because the Immortal can be brought back to life, as we saw before, people bringing him back to life, like the Marlow twins, for example, reviving him. But in the animated series, in the first episode of Season 2, in a different dimension, where Invincible is on Omni-Man's side, we see Omni-Man slice his head, handing it to Invincible to then crush it to basically nothing but blood. So that's what I'm assuming it meant, but it could be different. Now, I already kind of recapped this a bit, but I'll go over some parts again just in case. Later in the series, we see Mark get lost in a cave to then encounter a weird tentacle creature who then sends Mark to an alternate universe where he was sent the day first got his powers, like we said before. But this time, like we said again, he remembers everything and changes a few things. We went through the major details previously, but after Mark changed the universe he's in, tentacle creature then reappears and asks him if he would like to stay. When Mark declines, and that upsets the tentacle creature to then send him back to the universe where, when he gets home, Eve tells him that he's been gone for 5 years and missed 5 years of his daughter's life that he can never get back. As stated, Eve is not able to control flesh, which was being made by the government to become the perfect weapon. But, from my assumptions, they might have realized that they didn't restrict her. She would have been too powerful for them to control. So she has something inside of her to stop her from being able to control flesh. When she would be close to death's door, for example, Conquest punching a hole through her gut, she bypassed the machine, stopping her from controlling flesh, and she was able to heal the hole through her gut to be back to full health. I mean, you could technically say she is. In the animated series, we started to notice some things through the show that are different from the comics. For example, the new Guardians of the Globe near the end of Season 1 meet the human robot, when in the comics, at the end of the Angstrom Levy fight between him and Invincible, they get introduced to the human robot. That is just one example, as there are a few more notices which I will go through real quick. Shaking Ray being eaten and actually being killed for good. Spider-Man having a guest appearance in the Angstrom vs. Invincible fight. The Sequid invasion in Season 2 happens earlier. Instead of it being Science Dog, it's Seance Dog. Amber's appearance and personality is different. The Omnipotence fight is skipped over, which I really wanted to see in the animated series, but we only saw 2 bits. There are many more I could go over, but I think you get the point of what I mean by comic changes from the animated show. Now, I personally think they might have done this for budget-wise or animation-wise. Spider-Man, they couldn't have done this because of copyright reasons, I'm pretty sure, but it's the best we got. I am most definitely sure that this is talking about in the show where when Red Rush has his skull being crushed by Omni-Man, some people think he's doing it for hours when actually it's just the show showing it in slow motion. It is implied though that when this is happening we are watching it from Red Rush's POV, but actually in reality he did it in basically almost an instant. In the comics, when they fight the other versions of Invincible, one of them gets a hand of Rexplode, saying he has nothing left to defeat him, till Rexplode says he has one last thing to kill him, and that's his skull, sacrificing himself to save the rest of the Guardians and Earth. Though both of the Maulers claim that they are the original, it is never stated who actually is the original. In general, we both assume that even at the start, they are both clones. With that, we end this layer, the Edge. This one was shorter, as near the end of this layer, the questions could be easily answered in a very short response. Without further ado, we now move to the final and last layer. This will be the best way that I can put this theory, but I do see this as a good theory. So let's get started. The notion that Omni-Man's alien civilization possesses superior technology is accurate. Their advancements far surpass anything Earth could imagine, considering the vast difference in technological progress and the potential age of their civilization compared to humanity's relatively brief existence. Regarding his relationship with Mark's mother, Omni-Man's lifespan renders human lifespans insignificant by comparison. To him, her entire life may seem as fleeting as a blink of an eye, reinforcing the vast gulf between his perception of time and that of humans. His harsh treatment of Mark and his willingness to inflict collateral damage can be seen as a form of education from his perspective. In his eyes, Mark is merely a newborn, and Omni-Man believes that he is imparting important lessons about their true nature and the frailty of human life. While his actions may seem extreme by human standards, they reflect the resilience and endurance expected of Viltumites. While Omni-Man's actions may be rationalized from his perspective, the murder of the Guardians of the Globe and subsequent events make Mark a deviation from his otherwise logical approach. His decision to eliminate them could be viewed as unnecessary given their comparatively weaker abilities and the potential for nature mortality over time. The narrative lens through which Omni-Man's actions are portrayed reflects the inherent human perspective of the story's writers. From a purely logical standpoint, Omni-Man's victory over Mark and subsequent departure to start anew might seem inevitable. However, the narrative introduces elements like baseball and familial bonds to provide a more emotionally resonant conclusion, deviating from purely deterministic outcome. Ironically, humanity's greatest achievement in the series, the creation of zombie soldiers' resistance to Viltumites, underscores Sinclair's assertion that human longevity is an engineering problem. Despite the questionable ethics of the original experiments, the resulting resilience of these soldiers highlights humanity's potential for technological advancement and adaptation. My lip was bleeding the entire time. Now, I'm not kidding that this is part of the iceberg here. I looked on the internet for so long to try and find an answer to this, but I genuinely couldn't find anything for this. I looked on YouTube, I looked on Reddit, I looked on Twitter, and found nothing. I even rewatched the episode twice to see if I could even find the smallest thing towards this, and found nothing. I'd ask that if you find anything to leave it in the comments below. But now with that out of the way, we are now fully done with the Invincible Iceberg. This script took me quite a while to make, and the audio recording quite a while, as I didn't have much free time to myself to do this, but it was worth it. Like I said at the start, I want to kind of take a step back from the gaming content a little. I will do some gaming content still, but maybe not as much as I used to. I do have some videos planned, but don't have an exact order for them. This video is also made because I like the Invincible series and saw there weren't many videos on an Invincible Iceberg. But without further ado, I hope that you guys liked this video, and I hope to do more in the future. Make sure, if you like this content, to then, like I said multiple times, like and subscribe for future content. And with that out of the way, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!